Welcome to the Power Trip podcast. Today we're talking to Varun Painter. Varun, what was the first big bike that you ever got your hands on?
I remember it clear as day, black 2010 Honda CBR1000RR-R Fireblade. I think it was a really special motorcycle, one of the friendliest big bikes that I've ever ridden.
In fact, it was considered to be all of those things because Honda said for the longest time, we don't need to put electronics and traction control on our bike because the Fireblade is so friendly, you will just be able to deal with the power. Yeah. Obviously, it wasn't developed for a long time. It slowly became the least powerful liter class bike you could buy. Yeah. But all that changes here at the 2019 EICMA show. With that motorcycle, you are watching the Motor Show update presented by Michelin. This is Varun Painter and he's about to tell you how many R's there are in the new Fireblade.
I'm actually going to stop you when the correct number of R's are going to be
Alright. So let me try this. This is the Honda CBR1000RR Fireblade RR.
Yeah, done.
There's a lot of R's in there.
Yeah.
Why are there so many R's in this motorcycle?
I'm not really sure, but it's going to be available in two variants, the standard as well as the SP, which we're going to talk about later. But we're going to jump to the engine first. The engine, I think this is where it really gets interesting because Honda stayed behind for a long time. It's making 215 HP, 113 Newton meters of torque, lots of electronics on this motorcycle as well. But that's the standard. What's so special with the SP?
So the SP is where the Fireblade hits another level. It arrives at what is considered what essential equipment for today's liter class top of the line motorcycle is. So you get semi-active suspension, you get the Brembo Stillemark calipers, you get that Acropo which is standard. Now it also has a 6-axis IMU, so the electronics are also going to work better. All of that, the R, RR and the SP, no, the RRR and the SP are all wrapped up in this new bodywork which is inspired by Marc Marquez's Repsol motorcycle. Obviously, once you add headlights, indicators and all of it, it's kind of hard to see that shape. Oh, and let's talk about the paint. Varun, that paint job is inspired by the RC213VS, a motorcycle that I got to ride. But before you get jealous, it was at a go-kart track, it was heavily restricted, not worth talking about at all, yes. So that is the brand new Fireblade RR and the SP, both of which I expect will come to India. Yeah. Prices this time will be much higher because there's significantly more equipment on the motorcycle. What else do we need to know?
Definitely, the thing that we need to know is that it's got a really cool looking display once you sit on the motorcycle. It's going to show you a host of electronic aids. I believe there are a lot of customizations that you can do in terms of just the levels of traction, the levels of wheelie. You've also got probably launch control as well. But I think that's pretty much it. That covers the Honda CBR, RR, SP, Fireblade and the standard.
You forgot the one system that comes down from MotoGP to these bikes.
And what's that?
Okay, so first of all, when you bring a bike from MotoGP, the technology into a street bike, usually it improves things because the first thing we need to understand about high performance motorcycles is easier to ride motorcycles are easier to extract performance from.
Correct.
So Varun was asking me earlier, will this be more difficult to ride than the old Fireblade? I would be very surprised because Honda tries to make motorcycles that appeal to a large variety of riders, and making motorcycles harder to ride reduces that number. So chances are this is actually going to be quite easy to ride. If you think about the 215 bhp club, this is not the most powerful motorcycle there. It's also not the lightest motorcycle either, but it will be, I promise you, one of the easiest motorcycles to ride.
Yeah, and I think all these international press tests that had the CBR Fireblade way back in the order, I think this now stands a fighting chance to be up in the order.
Yes, the other system that we haven't talked about is that there is a sensor that you add to your knee slider, and if you lose your front into the corner, it just picks itself up and keeps going. It's the Marc Marquez system. It's part of the Fireblade. No, it's not. Thank you so much for watching. This is a Motor Show update presented by Michelin. That is the Honda Fireblade CBR1000RR-R or the SP, since this one has the Akrapovic, coming to India soon. And I think we'll wave to her now. Thank you so much for sitting on the bike and looking so pretty. Thanks for watching.